Cool. Well, I think we'll get started and people will jump in as needed. I don't want to hold you guys too far past the 9 o'clock time that we told you guys this would end. So would love, I'm happy that you guys are here. We're just going to talk chapter council, building the chapter council, utilizing your chapter council, how you guys can utilize your staff members, and just kind of bounce ideas off of each other to see how best you guys can build that up. So I guess first thing to start, raising your hand, who has people on their council that have at least shown interest and have been active with you, whether it be one or your full council? Okay. So a few of you. Now, who has people on their council that are not active at all?
Yeah, okay. Some are not, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so a little bit more. And who's brand new and doesn't have anyone on their council at all? So Shelby.
Well, I'm not brand new, but
okay. So just want to see where we're kind of at. I guess with the ones that do have a council and do have active members, does anyone have any tricks of how they recruited them onto their council or have built up their chapter council before I give out a couple ideas?
I just relied on the brothers themselves because Justin Woods, Theta Mu is real new. They chartered in 2018, so they're still coming up with their own way. So they don't have a bunch of alumni. So I found a couple of past presidents that wanted to be part of their chapter council, and then just asked them who would be good, who would care and put in the time. That worked out really well. I got a lot of leads that way. But then you also can kind of run into, like, when you're asking the brothers, instead of asking nationals for a list, the brothers you get like, well, not him because he's not up to snuff or something. Or I don't know what their criteria for who could be on their council was, but some of them tried to poo-poo other nominations. And but other than that, other couple issues like that, they were able to give me a list of people to contact, and we filled the council pretty quickly.
Gotcha. So you've been utilizing basically brand new alumni that just left the chapter.
Yeah, they're all really young. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. As long as we have someone at the head that is experienced and can help lead them, we can have any age of the other advisors, as long as they're just willing to help out. That's the biggest thing that we're looking for when it comes to the other advisors besides ourselves. Tom, you had something you want to say?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to share that LT, who is my regional director, was very helpful getting people. And then I just networked through, I got some guys from Grand Chapter last summer. And my reason for joining this session was what to do about, okay, I've got a core group of like 4 guys who are really active and really my main guys, main team, but then there are like 3 or 4 that I just can't get them to engage and be involved. It's really hard. So I kind of wanted to see if anyone had ideas for that. One good thing that's helped me this year with the chapter council is we are working on a project. We're working on the points and the accreditation to get the awards. So that's been a main focus, and that helps because if you have lag time in your meetings, at least we're working on something tangible, deliverable for an award this next summer. So that's really helped focus the chapter council. My problem has been with these 3 or 4 that just aren't engaging, and it's been hard. So
okay. I feel like a lot of our groups, they do have 1 or 2 or even just a few more that aren't engaged, but you do have a good core that work with you. I think if they're not being engaged, let's not have that. If you're reaching out to them, maybe just one more time, say, hey, we're looking to have someone be active in this position. Can you do this? This is the expectation. And if they say yes, then hold them to that. And if they don't meet it, be gone with it. And if they say, no, sorry, we can't do it, then we just look for someone else. I don't think we need to waste time trying to like build a connection or try to teach them how to be active. They're either going to be active or they're not. So we just got to nip it in the bud and move on.
Sure.
So I do want to go to Ryan's question real quick. And Dustin, thank you for putting that link. But yes, we do have specific roles on our Alpha Sig website. So I can share my screen real quick and show you guys that. So when you go to alphasig.org, you guys can go to fraternity resources, and then you'll see undergraduate and volunteer resources. If you go to volunteer, you see one that would be specific to you, but there's also chapter council. And then if you scroll down, you'll start to see the role of the communications advisor and all the other advisors that we have. And you can utilize that to have conversations with anyone that is interested to see what is best for them. David, did you have something you wanted to
add? Sure. I mean, our chapter council was actually pretty involved. When I took on this role, I basically reached out to my network. So our chapter council is filled with people that I know pretty well or that I was in school with. Some cases 1 or 2 years younger, some cases 1 or 2 years older, but we meet every month. It's pretty well attended. Each person has their role that they have to meet with. An undergrad that's in that similar role. We do a lot of alumni relations work. So, so I don't have necessarily the issues of people not being active because, like you said, I agree with you, Logan. You kind of have to, in some way, call them out, right? It's a little easier since I know them all. I'll just say, like, WTF? Like, what are you doing? You're in or out? Don't carry it away. I'll just get somebody else. But it stays pretty active, and I think it's really done well for our chapter because it really shows that there's a lot of alumni support, and we have, like I said, we meet every month, and on that meeting we have, there's always 2 undergrads at the meeting, which is the president and usually like the house manager as well. So they're involved in every meeting, which is helpful because they give us an update on everything that they're doing. And then if our guys have a question like, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of the VP of growth or the growth advisor, whatever, and he's not getting back to me, then at least, that's a good way for the chapter president or the number 2 person to call them out and say, hey, you need to respond to these people. So it's a lot of interaction with the undergraduates and the group. So, I mean, like I said, it's a little easier because I know them all and they're friends of mine to a certain degree. So that helps. So the more of that you can get, the better, I think.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing. I do think it is a benefit to have undergrads on your calls as well for the reasons you're saying.
Yeah.
Jonathan, did you have your hand up? I feel like it's been up for a while.
No, I think I just didn't realize I had it up from earlier. My bad.
All good. So kind of going off of what David was saying about him getting to know his chapter council, or at least he knows all of his advisors. I do think that's one of our big reasons why a lot of our chapter advisors aren't having chapter council meetings, because when we're utilizing our advisors, the biggest thing that we should be doing is having these chapter council meetings. And if they're not happening, then we're not utilizing our advisors to the fullest. So I know at some point it might be a little weird to hold a meeting with people you don't even know for the very first time. Your supervisor is happy, and I'm happy with the ones I work with on this call, to run the first chapter council meeting for you. We're happy to set it up. We'll run through all the expectations, just making sure that you feel comfortable leading that chapter council moving forward. We are happy to do that first call. We want to make sure that it is happening. So if you guys want to lean on us, do so. That's what we're here for. Let us help you start that process so that you can start having your calls once a month, once every 2 months, and start utilizing your advisors, because we can help recruit advisors to a chapter council and they say they're going to be active. And maybe you guys do have some active advisors on your chapter council, but we're just not utilizing them because we're not having meetings or anything like that. So if you guys want help having that first meeting, definitely let us know so we can help you out with that. Does anyone else have any ideas of how to build out the chapter council?
Ish, do you want me to share a couple of thoughts?
Yeah, go for it, Steve.
Hey, everybody. Steve Latour with, I am the advisor at IUPUI here in Indianapolis. We really caught our stride for a little while, and then a bunch of the guys moved away from our chapter council. So I'm like back to ground zero. But some of the success we had were I approached the guys and asked them, where can I find grad students on campus, the cool ones that we can maybe ask to be advisors? And so we were able to get a few names from some of the departments on campus that had some grad students. Over the holiday, we sent a Christmas card to every parent. And in that Christmas card was a letter from me introducing myself as the advisor and just saying that we're looking to grow the advisor. And I had 2 parents reach out that say they're interested in helping to be a part of that. So that was really good. You could always send a Valentine's Day card home to mom, and I'm sure they would love it, and throw your letter in there. When we got the group together, we told them that the expectation was they had to be at 1 chapter meeting a semester at least. And so that was really helpful for them to kind of have that boundary. And then we had, of course, the monthly meetings going on. And so then I would try to have kind of a one-on-one with that chapter council advisor like every other month, just to make sure that they were talking to their undergraduate person and, you know, making sure that they were kind of checking in with them when they needed to. So I think, as Logan was saying, if you can get it kind of going, then it goes with its own inertia. But it does take a little bit of that initial effort. So definitely lean on your supervisor to help, kick that off and set some expectations. When I did send out the email to all of the alumni in the Indianapolis region, I just kind of put on there exactly the positions we were looking for, what some of the expectations were, and we were able to get a bunch of responses from that as well. So don't be afraid to ask the undergraduates if they have suggestions on campus or, older siblings in the area that they may know who maybe were involved in Greek life or not involved. There's definitely some people there. It just takes a little initial effort to get that going. So hopefully those are a few helpful ideas. Yeah.
I didn't even think about the one where you go to graduates or people in graduate school on the campus. So that's awesome. But yeah, like Steve was saying, you guys can utilize us for a list, a template of an email to send out. We can provide lists of alumni to that chapter, lists of like a 60-mile radius of all alumni in that area. We can provide you all of that. Our team also, we're happy to do cold calls with you. Just if people aren't answering emails, we can dedicate an hour on one day and just start calling people on a list that we think would be good and just gain interest that way. Our team is very good at cold calls. So definitely utilize us for things so we can help you out with that. But I guess, is there anything else that people want to bring up as far as chapter councils go? We're kind of coming up on that 9 o'clock time. Is there any other questions I maybe can answer? Any other thoughts that people have? Awesome. Well, again, utilize your supervisor to the fullest when it comes to the chapter council. I think this is one of the big reasons why we have the paid chapter advisor, is to help build out the chapter council for the chapter. So definitely utilize us, and we're happy to help in any way. So, well, we can head back into the main room, and then we'll wrap up and say goodbye to you guys. Appreciate it.